On a quiet spring afternoon in Burlington County, what began as an ordinary ride would unravel into something far darker. A lone ATV rider slows near a bridge, drawn to a shape lying still below, an unsettling discovery that would soon grip an entire community. The victim, Rachel Siani, a 21-year-old college student whose life seemed as vibrant and promising as the night she had just lived. But the scene tells a different story. Missing shoes, unexplained injuries, and traces of blood where none should be. As investigators peel back the layers, a world of hidden struggles, secret relationships, and one last fateful encounter begins to emerge. What really happened in those final hours? And why did the truth lie, buried in places no one thought to look? If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and switch on notifications. Let's begin today's episode. Rachel Siani was a young college student whose night out ended in tragedy. What started as a carefree evening at a popular nightclub became a mystery filled with shocking twists, betrayal, and devastating consequences. Who was responsible, and how did a night of fun take such a dark turn? Stay with us as we take a closer look at the heartbreaking story of Rachel Siani. Alan Andrews, a resident of Burlington County, New Jersey, was riding his ATV on April 1st, 2000. After a week of rain, the clouds finally cleared, as if nature had willed it, allowing bright, warm sunlight to shine over the town. There was no way Alan would miss the opportunity to ride out, given his love for extreme driving. Alan slowed briefly as he passed by the New Jersey Turnpike Bridge. Suddenly, he came to a stop after noticing something unusual lying on the ground. It was large, and the unexpected sight made his heart race. He shut off the ATV, climbed off, and cautiously approached whatever had caught his attention. A moment later, what he saw took him by surprise. A woman lay there, and it was evident that no one could help her. The sight not only shocked him, but made his heart pound even faster. Who was she? How did she end up there? Questions rushed through his mind, but one in particular unsettled him the most. What should he do next? Once Alan managed to steady himself, he called the police, reporting that he had discovered a woman's body and provided the location. Investigators now had to determine whether it was an accident, a deliberate jump from the bridge, or a crime. Although police and an ambulance arrived at the scene, it was clear that medical assistance would no longer make a difference. Based on the condition of the body and the presence of insects, it appeared she had been there for at least 24 hours. All visible injuries seemed consistent with a fall from a height. The victim was estimated to be between 20 and 30 years old and was dressed in a white sweatshirt and jeans. There were no shoes on or near her body. Investigators found this detail unusual, as she was only wearing white socks, which appeared very clean. That might have made sense if she had driven there, stopped, removed her shoes, and jumped from the bridge. However, there was no abandoned car on or nearby, making the situation even more puzzling. Police began to suspect that the scene might not be as straightforward as it first appeared. Forensic teams were brought in to examine the body, and identifying the victim became a priority since she carried no identification. Authorities released details about her clothing and jewelry, with particular attention drawn to a necklace featuring a butterfly pendant. Shortly after, detectives received a call from a man claiming to be the victim's ex-boyfriend. He said he recognized the pendant and, with sadness, identified the deceased as 21-year-old Rachel Siani. At the start of the investigation, police believed Rachel may have jumped from the bridge herself, but her family strongly rejected that possibility. They told investigators that Rachel was happy, doing well in school, and had no reason to take such a desperate step. Their statements were supported by her generally positive outlook and passion for her life. Further evidence also supported the concerns of her family and friends, as police discovered dry, dark red stains on the bridge above the location where her body had been found. Forensic testing confirmed that the blood belonged to Rachel. This evidence made it clear that her fall was not voluntary. The presence of blood on the bridge indicated she had been injured before going over, raising further questions about how she even reached the bridge above a busy highway. The forensic findings completely ruled out the possibility of a deliberate jump. A detailed examination revealed that the burst blood vessels in Rachel's eyes and other areas of her face had occurred before the fall. Such signs are often associated with strangulation. However, after closely analyzing her internal injuries, the forensic expert concluded that she was still alive at the moment she fell. This suggested that her final hours were marked by intense suffering. At this stage, police needed to determine who could have committed such a cruel act. Rachel attended college in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, about 30 miles from where her body was discovered, where she studied psychology. Investigators visited the campus to gather information that might help them understand the situation and uncover clues in the case. According to her classmates, Rachel was friendly and attentive. She had no conflicts with anyone and performed well academically, as confirmed by those who knew her. Still, the visit to the college proved useful. Interviews with students and staff revealed an unexpected detail that even her closest friends had been unaware of. There was a fee required to attend the college. Rachel did not come from a wealthy family. She worked to cover her college expenses and daily needs, showing her strength and independence. No one knew exactly how she earned the money until the investigation began. Unexpectedly, the truth emerged. Rachel had been working as a dancer at a men's club called Divas to support herself and pay for school. The location where her body was discovered was just 3 miles from the club. When her family learned about her work, they had mixed reactions. On one hand, they were uncomfortable with it, but on the other, they recognized that Rachel was an adult capable of making her own choices. Investigators then visited the Divas Club to question the employees. Just as at her college, everyone at the club described Rachel as quiet and someone who never caused trouble. There, she performed several times a week under the stage name Foxy Roxy. About a month earlier, a cook had been laid off, and one of Rachel's coworkers mentioned it, though the dismissal was unrelated to her. However, another coworker noted that the cook had feelings for Rachel, even though she did not return his interest. It may have been her kindness toward him without reciprocation that led him to hold a grudge. His personal details were given to the police, who investigated thoroughly and determined he was not connected to the case. The investigation confirmed that he had relocated to another city after losing his job and had a verified reason for not being present at the time, effectively ruling him out. Rachel's car, which had remained parked outside the club, was then examined in detail. Forensic experts thoroughly inspected both the interior and exterior, but found no evidence suggesting foul play or anything suspicious. Even so, detectives believed that Rachel's work environment, where many men came and went daily, required closer scrutiny. At the club, the women were reported to only perform dance shows and not engage in any other paid services. A police report also suggested that Rachel may have had an argument with someone at the club, which could potentially have played a role in the events that followed. Detectives returned to the club to gather as much information as possible about the case. While there, they reviewed staff files once again, hoping to uncover anything that had been overlooked. Their goal was to speak in detail with employees and regular customers to better understand Rachel's interactions and relationships with visitors. During this second visit, investigators spoke with one of Rachel's coworkers, who shared valuable information that helped clarify parts of the case. Rebecca explained that among the club's patrons, there was a regular customer, a very wealthy man known for leaving large tips. According to her, this man was particularly fond of Rachel and often paid her special attention. He would pay Rachel large sums of money just to spend time with him at a bar during the day, and he also frequently gave her expensive gifts. Staff members at the club stated that their relationship appeared to be purely friendly, and that Rachel did not have a close personal relationship with him. However, the most significant part of Rebecca's account was that Rachel had last been seen with this client. This occurred on the night of March 29th, just 3 days before her body was discovered under the bridge. The club had already closed at 2:30 a.m. when someone, apparently heavily intoxicated, was persistently knocking on the doors. At the same time, Rebecca and Rachel were sitting in a car in the club's parking lot. A nearby police officer, who was patrolling the area, heard the commotion and went to investigate. There was no need to detain the man, as the club manager informed the officer that they recognized him and that everything was under control. The individual who had been attempting to enter the club after closing was described as a regular customer, well-liked, polite, and known for leaving generous tips, which the management clearly valued and did not want to lose. When Rachel realized it was him, she immediately went to the entrance where the situation was unfolding, hoping to defuse it quickly and with minimal disruption. She offered to help and suggested walking him back to the hotel, believing the situation could escalate further. This hotel was not just part of the same building that housed the club. It also served as a safe place for guests who had too much to drink or were otherwise unable to leave on their own. After that night, the regular customer was identified as 35-year-old John DeNofa. It was reported that he often stayed at the club's hotel because he was too intoxicated to drive. Rachel said she would escort John to the hotel, but she was never seen again afterward, raising police concerns. That same night, the hotel receptionist confirmed seeing Rachel and John DeNofa go up the stairs together toward his second-floor room. As the investigation developed, DeNofa became a key person of interest, and detectives made sure they examined every detail carefully. Before bringing him in for questioning, police decided to take a closer look into his background and personal life. They quickly discovered that the man was not only a successful businessman, but also someone with a strong reputation who was highly respected by those around him. However, investigators also learned that he was married to a woman whose relationship with him appeared unusual and somewhat troubling. Reports suggested that she often accompanied him to the club and surprisingly did not object when he occasionally stayed overnight at the hotel. This level of acceptance did not seem typical for their marriage. On one occasion, when he had been drinking heavily, his wife even came to pick him up herself, which was viewed as unusually tolerant and understanding behavior. When investigators later informed John about an upcoming interview and the reason for it, he appeared visibly saddened by Rachel's death. He appeared deeply affected by Rachel's death, as if it had left a lasting mark on him. Calm and composed, he firmly denied any involvement in what happened. According to him, Rachel walked him to the hotel entrance that night, but their paths separated there. He insisted that she did not accompany him inside or go up to his room. John stated that he went directly to his room alone, while Rachel said goodbye and left. However, this account conflicted with what the hotel receptionist reported, who was certain he had seen Rachel and John going up together toward the room. The receptionist stood by his statement and also maintained that he did not see Rachel leave the hotel afterward. The front desk worker also recalled that John did not come downstairs to check out until about 20 to 30 minutes after Rachel and John were seen heading toward his room. In the early morning hours, John reportedly smelled like shampoo or soap. 5 days after the incident, police searched the hotel room where John DeNofa had been staying, noting that it had been thoroughly and repeatedly cleaned. Investigators found no obvious signs of a crime inside the room, as it appeared unusually spotless. However, while the interior showed nothing suspicious, they noticed a large, dark stain on the sidewalk beneath his window. At first, the discoloration did not stand out, but when an officer wiped it with a white napkin, it immediately turned red. Samples of the stain were carefully collected and sent for forensic testing while DeNofa was still checked in at the hotel. He provided the registration details of his vehicle, a red Dodge pickup truck. To travel from the hotel to the location where Rachel's body was found, one would have to pass through a toll booth, which was covered by CCTV cameras capable of providing crucial evidence. The drive between the hotel and the site would take no more than 5 minutes. Police knew that Denofa had checked out of the hotel around 3 a.m. They obtained footage from the toll booth cameras, hoping it would fill in the missing gaps in the timeline. Their search paid off when they reviewed video from 3:13 a.m., which showed a red Dodge pickup truck speeding past, with an indistinct object visible in the back. They believed it was a body, and the red pickup truck was heading directly toward the area where Rachel's body was later discovered. The same vehicle appeared again on CCTV 27 minutes later at 3:40 a.m., this time driving in reverse with an empty truck bed. With the CCTV footage, witness statements, and additional evidence, police arrested John Denofa and charged him with multiple offenses. He denied all allegations. The quality of the camera footage was not clear enough to identify the license plate or the driver's face, giving Denofa a narrow opportunity to challenge the case against him. He used this uncertainty to his advantage, insisting confidently that his version of events was true and that the footage did not even show his vehicle. When investigators realized the available evidence was insufficient, they moved to gather stronger proof. Once they obtained a long-awaited warrant, forensic experts conducted a full examination of his pickup truck. At first, they observed that the vehicle appeared exceptionally clean, as if it had been thoroughly washed. It was clear Denofa had taken extensive steps to ensure nothing incriminating could be found. However, he was ultimately undone by a single oversight. During a detailed inspection, forensic specialists removed the plastic lining beneath the truck's cargo area after initially finding nothing unusual. Beneath it, they discovered dried, dark red stains. Tests quickly confirmed that the stains found in Denofa's truck bed and those beneath the hotel window were both made from Rachel Siani's blood. It seemed John Denofa was facing severe consequences in a lengthy prison sentence. However, he did not give up easily. He attempted to persuade police that he had no involvement in Rachel's death, offering a revised version of events and claiming that someone else may have used his pickup truck. He stated that when he was too intoxicated to drive, club staff would take his keys from him. Denofa suggested that someone could have made duplicate keys in order to frame him and mislead the investigation. His explanation came across as a strained attempt to account for inconsistencies and avoid suspicion. In 2002, the trial began, where all the evidence and forensic findings were carefully reviewed. The prosecutor presented a reconstruction of events from that night, outlining what they believed had happened. According to this version, once Rachel and John Denofa entered his hotel room, a heated argument broke out. It was alleged that Denofa attempted to initiate intimacy, but Rachel refused. In a moment of rage, he reportedly choked her until she lost consciousness. Panicked and believing she might be dead, Denofa allegedly decided he needed to conceal what had occurred immediately. With too much risk and attention in the building to leave through the front, the prosecution argued that he used the window as the only viable exit route, which they linked to the dark stain found on the asphalt below. John then allegedly left the hotel, taking Rachel with him in his pickup truck, and drove to the bridge. It was suggested that he intended to dispose of her in the Delaware River so that her body would not be found. However, due to the late hour and urgency, the plan reportedly went wrong, and Rachel fell to the ground instead of into the water. The court ultimately found Denofa guilty. After reviewing all the evidence, including the timeline of his departure from the hotel, CCTV footage of his pickup truck, and the locations where Rachel Siani's Dina was discovered, John Denofa was sentenced to life in prison on Friday, November 29, 2002. He became eligible to apply for parole after 30 years. Since then, Denofa has continued making desperate attempts to appeal the court's decision, holding on to what many see as false hope that the verdict might be overturned. However, his efforts have not succeeded. He will first become eligible for parole in August 2032. Meanwhile, some reports suggest that Rachel's shoes were never recovered by the police. In my opinion, The case of Rachel Siani stands out as a deeply tragic example of how quickly vulnerability can turn into fatal danger, especially in environments where power imbalances and blurred boundaries exist. What makes this case particularly disturbing is not just the brutality of the crime, but the calculated attempt to erase it, cleaning the scene, disposing of the body, and constructing alternative narratives. The evidence strongly suggests a moment of rejection that escalated into violence, followed by panic-driven decisions that only compounded the horror. It also highlights how crucial forensic detail and persistence are in uncovering the truth, especially when the suspect appears outwardly respectable. In my view, this wasn't just a crime of impulse. It was a stark reminder of how entitlement and control can lead to irreversible consequences when met with resistance.